Good morning and welcome to DayBreak. I'm Deb Uren, president of the Oxford Chamber of Commerce, and today I am here with
Elgin Nichols.
Elgin Nichols. Yes, he's not Terry Stiles. He is Elgin Nichols, and he's here to support me today in our program. So I wanted to start out by saying the Women's Expo that we had a week ago was absolutely outstanding.
Phenomenal. A lot of people showed up.
A lot of people, and both men and women.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it should be more women, and it was, but we did have men there as well. So I'm always thrilled, and you were there too.
I was.
You and Bill Service.
Bill Service, station manager. Yep.
Station manager here at OCTV. So I just wanted to say that when the people first walked in to Boulder Point area, they were able to see you guys sitting right there.
We were.
You were. And
we staked out our territory early, didn't we?
I know. I got there at 7:30 and helped. I had my chamber hat on at that time. So I helped Nicole get things started, setting up. We had to get all the tablecloths out on the tables there and get the numbers down so that when the vendors started coming in, and our boys from Crossroads for Youth, as they've done every year, they come early and they help our vendors unload their cars and bring in their items for them and take them to their tables. So our vendors are always so thrilled.
I didn't realize that you put that much effort and time into it.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like you were all over the place all day.
Well, yeah, I was, and all of our chamber members that were involved in helping, supporting our vendors, really, they were all busy. They were all busy.
And I want to say, too, for you folks that have never been out to that facility, it's a beautiful facility out there.
Yes, Boulder Point.
Yep.
Boulder Point. They have good food. They have wonderful service. The facility, and the night before, I don't know if you noticed all of the streamers that were up on the ceiling.
Did you do those?
I'm not going to take credit for it.
I don't know how you got up there.
But there was a wedding the night before.
Oh, okay.
And with that, Becky said, you know what, we're going to leave those up. And it was such a nice little accent to have that up there. So a little bit of decoration that we as the chamber did not have to put up there. And guess what, we didn't have to take them down either.
Yeah, it's pretty nice also to see the wedding crew come in and, get married right there on the spot.
Right there on the spot? Yeah, right.
No, this was the previous day, of course.
Oh, gosh. But personally, I was there, and I had my own booth set up. And I was in one of the corner rooms. We had Valor Salon in one room, and my equipment, my Great Energy LLC, and I had my medical device there. A couple of my teammates were also there, so we had like $25,000 worth of medical equipment that was in that room, and we were offering energy sessions. They were 8-minute sessions, and I really thought that I'd have some time to be able to go out and about and look at all the other vendors that we had, and I never left that room. At 11 o'clock it started, and at 4 o'clock I was still there.
Hey, if these folks are energized, the people I saw coming out there were all daisy and sleepy eyes.
Well, it was it's a relaxation, but it is pumping the blood in your body to a point of bringing oxygen.
Well, do they get the energy at midnight? At 1 in the morning or something?
You know what? If you were to do that, I'll tell you, if you were to do that, that particular session at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, no. You would not go to sleep. And your body would be saying, hey, I'm ready, let's go. And you're saying, hey, I got to go to sleep so that I can get up in the morning and go to work. So the sessions are twice a day. So we do an 8-minute session in the morning and then an 8-minute session at night, but it's a different cycle that is used at nighttime.
Well, I can tell you, it's pretty interesting, and I heard a lot of people conversing about it while I was at the booth.
Oh, I'm excited about that because I have had so many follow-up calls that I've personally made. And now, just yesterday, I was at Downtown Salon where I get my nails done. And I am now going to, plug. I'm now going to be at Downtown Salon with my medical device on Mondays. And I will be having sessions there. And so if you're interested, give me a call. My number is 810-338-6521. And I would love to have you come out for a complimentary session. That's what I was doing all day at the Women's Expo.
You know, I was a test subject I think Terry was too, wasn't she?
Yes,
at
you
the very
too.
beginning. And after she unplugged the electrodes, I really became very comfortable.
You weren't electrodes.
No.
No, you laid very
comfortable.
comfortably.
They had a problem getting me back to work, but other than that, it was good.
Oh gosh, Elgin. Oh, I don't know. But who else did you see there?
Well,
at the expo.
Well, I saw. Let me see. There was Pearl who gave out food
Pearl,
samples.
yes.
Yeah. They had a great brisket. I checked it out.
Yeah,
They
boy.
only allow one sample, so you know I tried, but
Yeah,
they wouldn't
yeah.
allow me to do it. But anyway, there were also I think. Let me see. There's another food place that was there too. Irish.
Was Sullivan the Celtic Knot was there?
Celtic Knot.
Yeah, and Witches, MC Witches was there.
Lots of food.
You know, and people were bringing in their little cup samples, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm starting to get hungry, but I'm really not. I didn't even know that they were offering food from the kitchen at Boulder Point. And it was like the day just flew by, but I know people were really excited about the food.
Did you see the
sampling.
honeybees flying around? Honeybees?
No, you know, I did not.
Yeah.
But I saw people with a lot of honey
Yeah,
that
they were
they were
selling
carrying.
honey.
I know they were right next to you.
Yeah, they put the bees right next to me in a cage. So I was kind of keeping an eye on them, you know.
Yes. No,
Busy little guys.
I know they are. Well, they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, right.
They've got a lot of work to do. I live out in Metamora, so my next door neighbor.
We'll hold that against you.
No. Hey, as you can tell, I'm in Oxford all the time. But my next door neighbor, at one time, and I don't know if he still is or not, but he was the president of the Lapeer County Bee.
Association or whatever.
Association, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Those guys.
And I know that he still goes to all of the major meetings that they have in Lansing. So needless to say, my husband and I, we put in a garden just so that Terry can have his bees come and they take care of all of the, you know, pollinating and everything. And we've got certain trees that Terry says, you know, if you guys wouldn't mind. I mean, we only live on 10 acres, you know.
Yeah.
He lives on 10 acres, you know, but he has so many beehives that it's phenomenal.
No, I think these little bees look a little bit like yellow jackets. The little,
Yeah, they
little
do.
bees. And actually, I had a situation at my home where I had yellow jackets, but I thought they were honeybees. So I called in a honey farm guy. I said, "Would you like these bees?" He says, "No."
Oh, geez. They weren't quite the right
No,
ones.
But what's interesting is the yellow jackets, they'll make a home in the summer and in the fall, but then they will die off and not rehabilitate, you know, in the following year. So honeybees, they stick around usually.
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, you know what? We've got to take a break, and I know you're very curious as to what this little guy is in front of us. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that. We're going to complete our story, though, about those honeybees, too. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome back to DayBreak. I'm Debbie Uren, president of the chamber, and
I'm Elgin Nichols.
And when we left, we were talking about the bees, the
Yeah.
beekeeper that was at our Women's Expo. And I believe they were located right next to you where you and Bill for OCTV were located,
I believe
correct?
they really were.
All
Right
righty.
next to me.
Well, all righty. Well, who was that?
That's Spencer Apiaries.
Spencer
Yep,
Apiaries.
Apiaries Company, and it's actually Mark and Bethany.
Spencer.
Spencer.
Excellent, excellent. I'll tell you, I saw so many people walking around with, you know, their purchase from
bees?
there. No, not with bees, not with bees,
Okay.
but with the honey.
Their
And-
honey is delicious. But
Yeah.
my wife and I purchase from them quite often, and it is absolutely delicious.
Well, you know, us health fanatics, you know.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking about all of us
Okay.
that are really, you know, we're in tune to our bodies and we want to put good things into our bodies, and there's nothing better than homegrown bees that make your honey. Honey is very good for the body.
Like
so.
honey whiskey, that's good too.
Oh yeah, honey and whiskey. I always had
No,
that
I'm
as a
just
little
kidding.
kid.
Oh,
When I was sick. When I
no.
was sick.
Sure.
Well, listen, we got to talk about this little guy that has made it to our table here.
Yeah, this is called a drone, and there are different size drones. This is a professional drone, and it will fly up to actually 4 miles, but according to requirements, you're allowed under FAA rules to fly 3 miles on site.
Okay. And this is OCTV's very own drone, and you had it at the expo. Not that you were flying
did.
it around, but you showed it. And I have to say, this is the first time I've ever been this close to a drone.
Yep, and actually, there's quite a bit to it. You know, you have to, in order to be a commercial pilot, you have to take the FAA test, pretty extensive, and I drew the short straw, of course, at the studio. That's what I tell people.
So you're the pilot, huh?
I'm the pilot.
Okay.
As a pilot, I'm allowed to train other people, you know, to operate drones. So that'll be part of what we're going to offer on OCTV. So if you're interested in flying drones, pay attention to our station, and you'll see where you will be able to actually get trained here. And if you'd like, you should have the information in order to take the FAA test at some given point, and you become a commercial pilot. Now, what's the difference between a commercial pilot and a hobbyist? Well, hobbyists cannot charge, you know, for what they do. They're also running in territories that are rather dangerous sometimes, that they don't understand the FAA rules.
Okay.
They're considerable, especially around airports, that kind of thing. So to be a professional pilot, you need to know all the protocol in and out of various class runways, you know. And there are airports in this area that aren't even registered with the FAA, so you have to know how to handle those as well.
Are you, at the time that you're flying this, are you actually, you know how our pilots talk to the tower? Are you talking with anybody? Do you have to let them know?
If you're flying
Like Bishop?
Right. Bishop would be like a Class C airport, pretty big airport. And you have to check with the air traffic controller in advance, make sure that they know that you're in their territory. There's a certain ceiling that you can fly. These drones are allowed to fly 400 feet, but if you're within an airport, you might be confined to even less space than that in terms of height.
Wow.
So you do have to communicate, and if you're in a military zone, it's still another requirement that you have in operating in a military zone.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's quite a bit to it. Most of you hobbyists out there wouldn't understand that. The other part of it is you need to carry insurance for this, and the TV station has roughly about $800,000 in terms of insurance. So if anything were to happen, the drone lost control and crashed into your car, or worse yet, crashed into you, causing damage, then the liability is covered.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there's quite a bit to it. The hobbyists wouldn't have that capability. They think that homeowners policy would cover them. It does not. So if you folks that are flying out there as hobbyists, be very careful that you not fly over some area where there's a large congregation of people, like a stadium, that kind of thing. If anything should happen, you certainly are liable, and your insurance company would not cover it.
Oh my gosh,
So-
this is all new to me, Elgin. This really is. Now, can this go out like in cold weather?
You can fly in cold weather, however, you have to be careful because it will ice up, same as an airplane will ice up.
Okay.
And so you could crash. This is a pretty advanced drone. This is what they call the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, which is their very best drone. It has several sensors all around it, so it can fly forward, sideways, backwards, and if it sees an obstacle, it will stop, and it will go around the obstacle or over the obstacle.
Oh my gosh.
If it runs low on power, or if it loses signal, because it uses Wi-Fi, in communicating with your controller, if it loses that, it will automatically return to you at your location, land right at your feet.
Can you, as the location, move during the time that this is going?
I can.
And it knows where you've moved to.
It knows where I'm at.
Wow.
It uses GPS to determine where I'm located.
Well, you can tell I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah, we use it for B-roll, what we call B-roll, which is background video. The camera on this is a 4K camera. It shoots at 60 frames per second, which is really high quality. And it's high definition, of course.
Wow. Well, the reason I asked about the cold was, we've got our Christmas parade the first Saturday in December. And is that something that, if weather permitting, would that be able to be used for that?
Well, there's several things that come into play here. It depends on how fast the wind is blowing. We don't like to fly it if the wind is blowing faster than 5 miles per hour.
Okay.
So if it's, let's say, 9, 10, 12, no, we probably wouldn't fly it. If it's snowing out, that kind of thing, and if it's extremely cold, you have to be careful as well. So we don't fly it over large groups of people. So it would be, as a pilot, I would find a very safe location to control this drone with and fly it, so that it would be at a height where it wouldn't hurt somebody if something were to happen.
Right.
But it has a lot of precautions built into it. There's a computer in this unit and also in the controller. So it's very advanced computers, 2 of them that communicate with each other.
Wow.
Pretty neat system. Now, a system like this runs in the neighborhood of around $3,000. Just give you an idea out there.
I would have thought a lot more than that.
No, actually, there are drones that will cost a lot more than that. There are police, what they call police and fire drones, and they run roughly in the neighborhood around $26,000, $27,000 as a rule.
Okay.
They do use heat sensitive cameras on them. This has a daylight camera. Heat sensitive camera would allow fighters to look into a home and see if there's an individual in the home.
Oh my.
By seeking the heat from the body.
Yes.
Police, of course, can track individuals that are trying to hide in the woods or whatever, with a heat sinking capability, and it sends the message or the information back instantaneously to the control unit, so the officer can see, where the individual is located and give instructions, for officers to move in that direction.
Yes.
So they actually are using a similar system in Rhode Island. The police department is to locate people that have strayed away from homes, that have Alzheimer's, that kind of thing. Because heat sinking, they're able to track, and they've located, I understand, 12 out of 14 people that have.
Oh my
left.
goodness!
So
What a marvelous.
This is a thing of the future, and it is here.
Yes.
And OCTV is the first one in this area to have a commercial professional drone.
Wow, that is fascinating. Well, I'll tell you, I'm just so intrigued, and this was wonderful to hear and to share. So thank you very much. We're going to have to take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, so stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back to Daybreak. Deb Uren here along with Elgin.
That would be me.
Yes, we've got some important issues to talk about. Not that everything else wasn't, but we've got some important political issues to be talking about right now, and I'm going to turn it over to Elgin, okay?
Well, as you know or may not know, the November 7th is the day that we're supposed to go out and vote. There's a couple of issues that are coming up concerning school bonding. And rather than get into exactly what the bonding issues are, I just want to mention that John Ochins is going to do a complete, thorough interview concerning the bonding issues and talking to the public out there and how it's going to impact the public as well as the school system by approving this or not approving it. So you folks stay tuned to OCTV for that special called Schooling Around with John Ochins on the millage issue.
Yeah, because that is important. These bonds are always important, and voting is always important. And don't forget, if you're going to be away and you can't vote, get your absentee ballot in there.
Absolutely. The other thing, too, is that you're going to see new equipment this year at the voting polls. Oh, yeah. It's brand new, spanking new system. It's going to be a touch system that, as opposed to the old mechanical system. It's a lot more simplified compared to, the old system, and is less prone to breakdown.
Okay.
So hopefully those lines, if you're in a precinct where they're long, will now be shorter because of the speed in which this should handle, the voting process.
Great. I mean, because sometimes that is something that deters people, and they shouldn't, because it's also a nice time to be able to talk to people that you don't always see. So I kind of looked forward to, standing in line a little bit if it's not awful weather.
But you can't talk to those folks in the voting booth.
Oh, no. Just while you're standing in line. I've been meaning to talk to you about that, Deb. I know. I never know when to stop,
Okay. Oh, well. Anyway, let's talk also about the what's going on in M24.
Yes, please
There's
do.
a task force consisting of, I want to say, 18 people roughly, both business and government people, local people, residents, and people that own businesses in Oxford that are involved in this transition. You folks probably have gotten into the rumor of the fact that they're going to completely renovate or redo, tear up M24, and it's going to happen supposedly in the year 2019. However, that may change. There's an indication that maybe MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation, will now change it to 2020. That's not confirmed. We may be spreading a rumor here, but it looks like it may happen, postponement to this. So, but that would be good for the DDA, Downtown Development Authority, from a standpoint that allows the DDA to accumulate more funds to make this thing more palatable. Although it is, has been worked on in terms of financial side of it. People working with this, of course, is the DDA director, Mr. Pape, Glenn Pape, and of course you've got Mr. Teach, who is the village manager. Evan Teach. And very competent, capable people. And I'm trying to think, there's another gentleman too, James, I can't think of his last name right now, but he started out as the village manager and very good with stats and putting together grant information, that kind of thing. But they have had a consulting firm working with the design of streetscape, and there have been TAP grant. There's a TAP grant available, which MDOT has lots of money. As long as you know how to do the TAP grant, then we have a good possibility of getting this. Matter of fact, probably a good 90% chance.
Okay, and so they're already working on our grant. We're working on our end to get this grant.
Now, just to give you an idea, they started at roughly $1.8 million and got it down by shaving things off through this committee to $2.2 million. But with the grants, it actually comes in about $700 and some thousand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Right. And then there's money that the DDA has set aside for that, plus the TAP grant will come into play at that point. Now, keep in mind that MDOT, as they tear up sidewalks, cobblestones, those kind of things, remove street lamps, that they have to either pay for that or they have to replace it, the cost for it. So that all comes into play. So there's a lot of information here in terms of financial information that actually comes down to the final line. But if they postpone it for another year, that would be better even for the village. So, but they did have a meeting, as you know.
Yes.
It was held on Monday, October 16th, and it all began at 3 o'clock, where they had a press release. And village manager and, of course, the DDA director were leading this charge to let the press know what's going on.
Okay.
Good presentation, lots of questions, from the press. And then I believe it's 4 o'clock that they had an open session meeting where residents could come in, business owners could come in, and you could ask any kind of question you want in terms of design and what's going on, as far as the M24 project. So, and that was quite fruitful as well. Then the DDA meeting occurred at 6 o'clock.
Wow.
And DDA board met and covered the normal business at that point. Joe Frost, who is now a member of the village council, was there, as the council members and the DDA board were there. So it was a joint meeting.
Good.
So that everybody knows what's going on, what the left hand is doing, what the right hand is doing. And only real negative commentary was from Joe Frost, who said there were very few business people there. And there should have been more people, because it's actually for their benefit that it was put on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Now,
sure.
Here's the thing. One of the points brought up was that some of the businesses downtown are saying, well, when this thing comes through, we're going to be leaving town. We're going to be moving our business. That would be the biggest mistake that you folks out there are thinking this way could happen, because you have to look at the full scope of this thing. It's going to really bring more business into our location once this is completed. And this group is trying to, in its very best way, working with MDOT, to make it less painful through the process of doing this. And if you stick it out to do this, and there's funds for marketing and that kind of thing, and advertising for promotions that are going to be involved, and I know the chamber is interested in this as well, where you folks will come out of this at the end of the tunnel with bright light, and be glad that you stayed. So.
Well, and just on a personal note here, I was involved as a resident when Rochester went through theirs. Once again, I had to go down through Saline, and wow, the way that they took us all around, because the Main Street road was all torn up. It's like, okay, fine. It is a bit of an inconvenience, but it is the result of this little bit of inconvenience has really brought so much to both of these two communities that I personally have seen. So I can only imagine what this is going to do for Oxford. Oxford has really and truly needed this.
Yep.
And I know that in the long run, it's going to be so well worth it.
Well, just a couple quick things here. We're going to tie in the complete village all the way up to Marketplace. There's going to be wider sidewalks, because the streets actually are going to be 11 feet rather than 14 feet wide in terms of the roadway. There's going to be a couple of islands out there. There's going to be plants. There's going to be bushes,
it's going
to be beautiful area by the time it's finished. And you folks, as I say, that go through this duration and this change, you want to get involved with the DDA at this point, because you've got people on this board now that really are pushing hard to make this thing less painful to you, and when it's all done, you're going to draw business like you never saw in your area.
Right, and be involved. Come to these meetings. The meetings are where you're going to get the real fruit of everything that's taking place. Don't listen to what so-and-so said. You got to be there. And if you've got an opinion, you get up to the podium and you share your opinion. This is what's so important in any community. So you are being tasked to do that. And so with that being said, thank you very much. I enjoyed being with you and talking with you, Elgin. And we're going to have to say goodbye for now, but take care. And don't forget to vote November 7th. Take care.